Mind Effect with Karabo Mashego.
Good evening, family. You are chilling with me, Miss K, from 6 to 8 p.m. You do know it's a Tuesday. And I started off the show with the triple play as per normal. Triple play Tuesday, I started off with Beyonce Hello as a greeting, of course. And then I followed up with Brown Skin Girl and ended off with Spirit. I'm sure you can tell there's a flow to the songs that I'm playing. Not only is it just greeting you, but it's a powerful black woman, which is what I am doing today. I'm speaking to a powerful black woman who has a story to tell. And I'm sure you've seen my poster, but before I go there, the time right now is 19 minutes past 6. And as per usual, you are on Mind Effect. We're going to be having great conversation, great music, and inspiring stories from beautiful, amazing people. Oh my gosh. I wish we had like studio camera. I wish I had a studio camera. But before I get ahead of myself, I am not alone tonight, family. I am with Pandora. Yes, like Pandora, the secret, you know, the box.
You like carrying the Pandora's box?
Yes, that's got a whole lot of secrets. So you don't know what will come out today. But in conversation, we'll be hearing her story and from where she's gotten from and where she is right now, and what it is that she does and who she stands, like what she stands for and what's her story, because she has a very, very inspiring story, to say the least. I know I always say that, but guys, hello. Hi, Pandora.
Hello, hi.
How are you?
No, I'm amazing. I'm excited. I'm having so much fun already. I've been laughing and I'm smiling. Yeah, it feels good to be here.
Welcome to Mind Effect. Thank you so much for honoring the invite.
Yes, I'm humbled.
Thank you so much, because I know you are a busy woman, and I know yeah, but this is like a favor. I know.
No, it's not. No,
really?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'm at work.
Okay.
This is work right now.
Okay. No, then I'm happy. I am very, very happy. But before we run out of time busy just greeting each other, I want to get straight into it.
Yes.
So, who is Pandora? If no one has heard of you, if no one knows about you and they meet you, who is Pandora?
Pandora Mabai is a proud product of Gugulethu. I was born out of Gugulethu, born and bred out of Gugulethu, Cape Town. I was born out of teenage pregnancy. My mom was very young when she had me.
Okay.
So being raised in that family, obviously your grandparents, they like your parents, the people that you call umama no tata, you know. And being raised in that family, my late grandfather, I always honor him. I love that man with all my heart. I would not be the woman that I am today if it was not for his values, morals, principles, very staunch Christian background. That kind of a household where on a Sunday everyone has to wake up because he's going to put a padlock on his gate. Yeah. The whole family needs to go to church. So I was raised in that environment. And my mom she had to drop out of school and be a mother at a very early age and find a job and take care of me. And I'm grateful for everything that I've been given by my family. You know, when you're raised in African backgrounds where you're in the township, it's not always hunky-dory, but we were enjoying. We didn't even see the struggle, you know, and having parents that are working hard to take you to good schools in order for you to be the hope for the family, because they sacrifice a lot in order to say, okay, with you, at least we know that you will take us out of where we are. So that is where I was raised. We did move out of Gugulethu 19 years ago. We are in the southern suburbs of Cape Town, but I will always be a product of Gugulethu. Okay. That is who Pandora is.
And so here you are now. You grew up in Gugulethu. Went to high school in Gugulethu, I assume.
No, I did not go to high school in Gugulethu. Okay. Obviously, the parents always take you out.
Yes,
you know.
So you
go to the multiracial schools, the private schools, and parents are trying to give you the best. And I'm that's what made me. I wasn't into what my mom went through, because they always try to do better with the next generation. So there were a lot of, it didn't come easy going to multiracial schools. No,
Yes.
there were some things that the family was actually sacrificing in order for me to get that education, because all they had was that she needs to get what we did not have in order for her to give us what we don't have as a family, take us out of where we are. So that is what has happened. I went to Varsity College.
Okay.
I did marketing IMM. I did my first day in Cape Town in Rondebosch. Then after, I always wanted to get out of home. Always. I was like, I just want to get out of Cape Town. But I was always told that no, after grade 12, you can't, you know. And I was like, okay, can I just do my first year? And then after my first year at Varsity College, if I do good, is that my ticket to leave this province?
Okay.
And that was my ticket. I had to prove myself with my grades, and I went to PE, and I continued my schooling in PE because I took a transfer straight from PE after I was done with my marketing IMM, straight to Joburg, because that's what I always wanted. Place of gold.
Everyone, city of gold. So now, okay, so here you are now in Joburg. You've just arrived in Joburg. What then happens to Pandora?
The lights of Joburg were brighter than where I come from. Yes, Cape Town is beautiful.
Yes.
Cape Town is too beautiful, you know. But there's a buzz about Joburg. There's a spirit in Johannesburg that makes you. You know, when they say, someone sang the song, "Uzoyithola kanjani uhlele koneni?"
Yes.
You know, when I came to Joburg, that's what I felt, that people are here, you're on your own, number one. And you're here to hustle. You're here to make it happen for yourself. So I was looking for a job, but obviously coming in, I'm free from going to church, because when I left home, I was like, I'm done
with church.
I am not doing church again, you know. So I had my freedom. So I thought.
Okay.
So I thought I could have my freedom, could go to the coolest parties. I could live the life that I've always wanted to live, because where I grew up, even in my street in Guguletu, we were called the kids of Pharaoh. That's how strict my grandfather was.
Okay.
No friends. You play with your cousins. You grow inside the yard. If you say you have a friend, my grandfather used to ask you, like, what is that? What value do they add in your life? So I was always raised in that that environment, and I always looked on the other side of the fence, and I always wanted to know, but what is keeping us away from, what does it feel like on the other side? You know, like in Guguletu, there were kids that could go to Yellow Door. There was a club that people could go to in the afternoons. I couldn't. On a Saturday, I couldn't. I've never been to Yellow Door, you know. And when I came to Joburg, I was like, finally I can go to a club. Finally I can live my life. And I was on the fast lane, living, you know, got myself a job. And when I got a job, I could have the cool friends, because now we are all
young group working.
Young group. We're not even young professionals when I look at it now, you know, because we're just employees. That's what it was. And I could go to the parties. I could do anything I want to do without me reporting to anyone. And women are born to love. There's something about us in love. I always say women are God. And you always look, oh, okay, so who am I going to date? Who are the guys that are looking, who are looking out for me? And I was a new kid on the block. So I've always befriended people that are older than me.
Okay.
I think I grew up too quickly, and being friends with these women, we could go to parties. And I remember at this party, at that time, there was this guy that approached me, and he was like, you're beautiful, you know. But the first thing I noticed from this man is, you look old, but yeah, it's okay. Thank you for the compliment. And we had the fun. The party went on, and I told my girlfriend, who was older than me, that this man looks like he's got an interest, you know. And the first thing she said, but do you know who he is? And Jimmy comes to Joburg. I never, ever, ever say it was peer pressure, because I don't believe in that. The great experience is the greatest teacher. I had to be there in order for me to learn. I had to learn what is Joburg and what is life outside Joburg. What is life? Because I was being given the essence of life. And this guy was very interested in me. And now when friends are saying, but you know, he's a politician, he's a businessman. Did you see that car outside? That's him. So me and this guy, we fell in love. And falling in love, I fell in love with someone that my gut already told me. But because we're not taught to listen to your inner voice, and you are too busy living that you don't have time to pause and listen, because that's one of the things that makes us lose the essence of who we are. Because you're on the fast lane and you're moving and moving and moving, you don't listen. And I knew that he looked older, but because I've already been told
of his status and stuff,
his status, what he stands for, who he is, and in Joburg, what happens. In fact, now it's not even Johannesburg. Now success is measured by a woman has to get married to a rich man as a sign of success.
Yes.
And men are taught to get rich and make money, so that is a sign of success. And I was with him and I fell in love with this guy, and I really fell in love. I was in love.
Yes.
And I continued with this relationship, and I got engaged. I remember I was getting married and I was excited, but getting married to a rich man, because there's a difference between wealth and riches. Getting married to a rich guy, it was coming with so many restrictions in my life. I remember at the time I had started doing Pandora's box events, and my business was starting to do great. I was doing many things at the same time. During the day I'm at work, over weekends I'm hosting events. But there were questions like, how much do you earn from this that you are doing? And you would give the figures of how much you're making of this, and you're like, no, you know what, there are too many men around you at what you're doing, and if you're going to get married to me, I'm not comfortable with that, and I can give you an allowance. That time it sounded like dollar signs. Oh, I'm gonna get money that I don't have to work for, you know. And I gave up on my dream. I gave up on doing events because I was in love.
Okay.
And I chose love, and I was choosing everything over who Pandora really, really is. And there I was sitting, and I'm getting married. I'm no longer doing my events. And then the second thing came. You need to be a housewife, you know. We need to run things in the household. Here you are, you're living in this mansion. There are the cars, you've got the driver. You're living this life. But for some women, it works for them. But for the Pandora's box, because I was carrying a box, I became bored. I became unhappy.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there because I want to backtrack a little. But before I backtrack, I'm going to play a song. So I think this, like you were saying, in order of the songs, it's going to relate to what we're saying. So I'm going to play Her Changes because I feel like you were going through changes in your life. And after that, I'm going to ask you a question just to backtrack, just so we aligned with you. I want to know what was Pandora's box at the time and what led you to starting that, and what was it at the time? Because we hear you speaking of Pandora's box, but what was it? What was it doing? What led to that? Was it a dream? Was it, I just want to find all of that out. Do join in on the conversation, family. Our WhatsApp line is 065-601-9878. And on that note, here's Her with Changes. That was Her with Changes. Oh my God, something amazing just happened off air. I don't know if it's amazing or shocking or I don't know. I don't know. But let's carry on. I'll tell you about that later. So, what was Pandora's box at the time?
Pandora was carrying a box that consisted of so many gifts, because it's not just one.
Okay.
Being hope to hopeless situations in the world. Being light. More than anything, what needed to come out was my light.
Okay.
The light, because when I light my light, I'm able to light the light of others. But I could not even see my light because my life was measured by material things.
Okay.
It was measured by my address. It was measured by the cars that I'm driving into. It was measured. I was not even doing me, Pandora. I was living in this bubble. But you see, most girls And most women, they long for that and they think that's the life. But once I had it, Pandora personally, I felt empty. Because number one, for me, the structure of a family, it's a man that is present. It's a man that's supporting your vision. It's a man that is going to be there. But I was always alone in my house. And I used to drink every day. Like, we had a bar in the house because out of my frustration and out of everything, which I gave my power away, it's a choice that I made. It was a trade that, okay, so this is the sign of success. Now, I have it. But when I had it, I felt like the light in my box just wanted to come out. It wanted to come out. And I knew that something had to be done. And I was not going to church. I wasn't praying. I had no essence. I had no direction. I had no compass of my life because my life was measured by all these things. And I always honor my grandfather because I dreamt of him while I was in that turmoil, while I was in that dark hour where I'm saying, how did I get here? What is this that I have gotten myself into? And I remember when I dreamt of my late grandfather, he said, pray. And I didn't even know how to pray. I was like, what do I say? And he came again to me and he said, pray. And the only prayer I could pray was Our Father. But after that prayer, so many things changed in my life. I knew that take responsibility for your own actions. Own your wrong. Get yourself, if this is not what you want, and if this does not make you happy, because already the signs were there. I've got all the money. I've got everything that I think life is all about, because it's just the mind that thinks those things, you know. But here I am. I'm sitting at my bar and I'm always drinking and I'm trying to close the void within, because outside, when I go out, everyone looks at me and they think, wow, she has it all together. And I had to keep wearing that mask every day of my life. But behind closed doors, I was fighting Pandora. And after that prayer, the light started coming.
Is that when you then started the events company?
I had left my events company, remember, because now I'm this housewife who is a fiance. I'm already staying in this house. I'm already with this man. My business, I'm no longer doing it.
So what made you, I want to, backtrack to what made you start the business? Because you were working a 9 to 5.
Yes.
Right? So at what point were you like, actually, I want to do events?
For me, I'm a hard worker and I love experiencing things because I did marketing, and where I was working at the time with my job, I was not really doing things that have to do with marketing. And I was like, no, man, but I love putting things together. I love bringing people together. I've always been umuntu wabantu. You know, I've always been that person. And for me, events were that space where I could put together the entire campaign and use my skill as a marketer, which I did not have that leverage in my 9 to 5. And I thought, okay, fine, I can still do this, do events once in a month, and I was still work because I'm about that. Hustle up, go. You want to succeed? Success does not come overnight. You need to work. And for me, if I have to do 3 things at the same time, it's all about me, and it's all about what I want to achieve in life, and it's all about hard working. So that's what made,
That's when you then started the company.
That's when I started the company.
And was the company doing well?
It was.
Okay.
It was doing well to a level where I was doing events in nightclubs. I was putting together events, but there were events where it's the glitz and the glam. And I remember I used to book Abo Lula Cafe back then for 1,500 rand because they were still coming in.
Oh, now add a couple of zeros there.
Back then, Lula was just coming in, and we were very good friends. And Lula could come and support me. DJ Dimples used to come and play for me hip hop. So I was new in Joburg, but I knew what I came to Joburg to do. I came here to work, and I came here to build my name. And I knew that there's a brand that's behind Pandora. And I was doing these events, but they were cut short because a man that I was getting married to
Has now given you a choice.
he was like, you need to be a housewife. This is what needs to happen. And I was owned by love.
So at that point, then you closed the company.
I closed I stopped. I stopped completely.
And you just focused on your 9 to 5.
I just focused on my 9 to 5, which did not last long as well, because he wanted a housewife.
Okay.
He wanted a full-time housewife who's going to be, what do they call them these days? House executives.
Okay.
He wanted a house executive.
Someone to run the house.
Yes. And I'm sorry, Pandora is not a house executive. Pandora is not. And when I started finding myself and started looking at my light, and I was like, I'm literally 2 months away from my wedding day. I really want to do this because...
So now how old are you? You're in the house, you're engaged, you are 2 months away from your wedding. How old are you at this time?
That was 2009. I was...
28.
I was 28.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're a 28-year-old, you're sitting at the bar, you're like, I'm 2 months away from my wedding, but something's not right.
Something was just not right. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And the signs were always there. I'm always alone most of the time. I'm doing things like drinking constantly. And I felt like I was losing myself. I felt like I was losing Pandora. And I had a decision to make that, do we go through with this or do I step back? And I'll always be grateful to my late friend Ulongi Mzwandile Voyi, who was there with me on the day that I made the biggest decision. And he said, friend, if it doesn't make you happy, it won't make you happy in marriage. If it doesn't make you happy now, do you think you're going to be happy in marriage? And I said, no, I don't think so. Then he said, Pandora, it's okay to walk away.
This is 2 months before your wedding.
That was 2 months before my wedding day.
You decided, you know what, it doesn't feel right, and my light has been dimmed enough, and I'm done.
I was done. I was done.
Walking away from the houses, the cars, the money,
that
the
did not belong
allowance.
to me.
The allowance. Can we just highlight the allowance?
Yes, the allowance is gone.
Oh.
Everything was gone. Everything was, and I was willing to lose it all. And that's when I started going to church. Olongi took me to church.
Okay, we're gonna pause it. We're gonna pause it right there. Let me see what song I'm gonna play. I think this one is fitting of where you're at right now. That was Jennifer Hudson with "You Pulled Me Through." I feel like that's such a beautiful song.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I'm still trying to follow up on what pulled you through what you were going through. But before I go there, do join in on the conversation, family. Our WhatsApp line is 0656019878, and we have 2 messages. One says, "Hi, this is Bishop Edgar Conrad Jr. I just love your personality, Pandora. Wish I could meet you one day. You are, yeah, so true. You miss out the essence of life when you are not focused."
Thank you.
And another message from Amanda, who says, "Wow, Panda Bear."
There's only one Amanda who calls me Panda Bear.
She then says she knows I'm the only one who calls her by that name.
And I'm not even seeing a message. Imagine. Yeah.
Wow. She says, "I have watched my sister blossom into the flower that she is now. I've always seen her as a flower, even in her days of being a bud. I too was a bud. Google it days. Panda, I remember when you visited Cape Town and coming back from Joburg, you and I were in our late stages of pregnancies. We both knew that just like how we were carrying our babies in our wombs for 9 months, we too were going through the process in our living lives. To watch and witness a testimony of a seed being watered, growing, and changing into a bud, and being watered again and becoming a flower has been truly a wonder of God. Your story is a living testimony, and you allowed bees to come and take from your pollen, which is your wisdom, to go on and allowed an opportunity for more seeds to grow. Through your work, you are able to touch people's lives. This is a message of support and continued encouragement to carry on and be bright in your corner where you are." She is in tears, Amanda. Thank you so much for making my guests cry.
Yeah. Amanda.
Amanda, come on.
Amanda. Like you made me cry live in spirit. It's not fair.
It is not. Amanda, please.
Thank God I don't wear makeup.
Amanda, please behave.
Wow, I'm humbled. It's been a journey, and I had to go through it all in order for me to restore the world, because the world is so lost. The world is measuring life based on what they see on social media. It's based on, now when a guy asks a girl out, they ask, does he have money? How did we get there? How did we get there? What happened to love? What happened to building together? And when I look at where I come from then, and we were not as much as we are now on social media, where the world is moving so digital and everything is moving there. And my cry has always been about my child, because I'm a mother of a girl child. And I look at what the world is giving, and people are depressed, people are dying, people are in competition. Social media has done that. There's no humanity. There's no feeling. There's no, wow, it just breaks my heart, and that is why I cannot stop talking. I can't stop talking. I can't be muted, because my voice matters. My story is important. I was born to make an impact. If I don't stand up, who will? Out of the mess that we are in. And it's about choosing to say, I take my mess, and can I allow it to be a message? And I know there were so many expectations of me from too many people, family, friends. I lost friends. I lost so much out of my life, but I was willing to walk alone, because I'm the one.
Now, speaking of loss, here you are 2 months before your wedding, and you decide, I can't do this. You speak to your friends, and they say, if you are not happy, walk away. What is the next step for you then? What do you do?
It was just my one friend that could get me, and it was a guy. It was a male friend.
Okay.
And he was at our house for a weekend, and I had to speak to someone that, hey, my drinking, it's worrying me, you know? And I was like, friend, but when we leave, where are we going to go? In Joburg. This is not home, you know? And I remember he's like, friend, if we have to sleep under what do you call the bus station, we'll do that, you know? But Pandora, where I go, you're gonna come with me. And I sat there looking at all of this that I have, and I have to walk away from all of this and start from my scratch. I felt like a failure somehow. I was like, yo, my friend, people are gonna laugh at me. People in Cape Town, what are they gonna say about me? And it was like, Pandora, people will always talk. Whether you do good, whether you do bad, people will always talk. What is your gut feeling saying to you? What, after you prayed, what are you feeling? And I'm like, friend, if I stay here, I will lose myself. And he said, friend, you the one that has to tell that man. Thank God that I'm going to be sleeping in the spare room. You have to do your thing. But I am here to soldier on with you. And that is where I saw what I call a friend. That he was willing to walk hand in hand with me. If I'm going down, I was going down with him. And I remember telling my ex-fiance, because I'm not a divorcee, I'm a runaway bride. Let's get that straight. I was never married.
Never. You're not a return soldier.
No, I'm not a return soldier.
You're just ready for combat. You just didn't go to war.
So I remember when I spoke to him, a man of his caliber, his stature, his ego. And I will say that his ego, I bruised his ego. And it was very, very, and that is where I got to see that there is a huge difference between love and collecting objects.
Okay.
Because some, not all men, I love men. No, I salute men. I love men with all my heart. I think they're such amazing human beings. But there's a difference between a man that collects things in his life. Because I looked at myself as one of the objects based on his response. Based on his response. Because love is kind.
Yes.
Love still wants to love you. Even if you're gonna go and be happy with someone else, they still want you to be happy. Love wants the best for you, whether you're with them or you're not with them. That I remember when we had the conversation. Red light that was brought to me is, but are you aware that everything that is here is mine?
So how do you start the conversation? Are you sitting? Are you sleeping? Is it after a drink? What is it? Do you just go up to him and you're like, actually, hey.
I've been telling him that we need to talk.
Okay.
It was a thing that was there, but you know when these guys are busy, we've got business deals, I've got this, I've got meetings, I've got that. And when we actually had the opportunity for us to sit down and talk, and I was like, my first question was, why do you want to marry me?
Yes.
That was my first question. That why do you want to marry me? And it looked like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
I love you.
Confused,
You know, I love you. And I'm like, but what is love to you?
Yes.
No, love is me. I'm here with you, and
I
everything
chose
that you want.
Yeah.
There were so many women that were there, you know,
but I chose
but
you.
it was you
Yeah.
that I chose, and those answers did not give me what I was looking for.
Yes.
You're beautiful. I'm beautiful.
That's
my
it.
mom tells me I'm beautiful, you know, and I was like, I'm not getting the answer that I'm looking for from this man. And then I started pointing out that, you know what, I'm not happy. And he didn't understand. How are you not happy?
Not happy?
You've got money.
You've got
black cards that you're carrying. There are cars. There's the house.
What do you mean?
What are you looking for? Your friend is here. What is it? There's the bar in the house.
There's the bar.
What are you looking for? And then I started breaking down that where I grew up, my grandfather was always present.
Yes.
There was no day that my grandfather did not sleep at home. And then it came back to that thing of, you are comparing me to your background. But my background is my foundation. My background is my root. That's what makes me who I am. And that is what I want in a husband. I want a husband that is present to understand my dream, to hear me dream and have visions, for you to be able to work with me in building those dreams. And for him it was like, what is it that you are looking for?
What do you want?
What is it? You've got the comfort, you've got all these things. And I was like, I think you don't know me and what I want. And it was that whole comparison that if you want to marry your father, then I'm not your father.
Yeah.
But that's not the thing. I don't want to marry my father, but I want to marry a man that's got values, that's got respect, that's got love, that is here to walk with me, be present. And I even asked the question, if I have kids with you, if you're always not at home, what am I going to tell my children? Where is their father? Who's going to play the role of a male to my kids? Because as a woman, I can only go so far, but I can never be a father to my kids. And it's like, where do you think we get the money? All the time that I'm out, I'm making the money.
Working.
And for me, I felt as if, is money more important than me? And at that moment, I knew that I am not what he's looking for. What he's looking for is a Barbie doll. What he's looking for is a trophy wife. And I told him, you're looking for a trophy wife. And unfortunately, I am not a trophy wife. I've got dreams. I aspire to be things in my life. And I don't have a partner to partner with me on that level and watch me grow. And with that, unfortunately, I could not carry on with this. And at the beginning, I thought he heard me, but he was not hearing me. And then the answer came that, but if you walk away with nothing. And that's when I realized there is a difference between being an object of a man that is collecting beautiful things in life and a man that loves you.
Yo, on that note, there was definitely something inside so strong. That was Lyra with Something Inside So Strong. And I can tell with how you are listening to the song and singing along to the song that the song resonates so well with you, and you understand what it means to have something inside you so strong that cannot be dimmed by anyone or anything. Whether it is material things, whether it is a person, you just had this inside of you and you had to let it shine. And
this song, I'm sure you saw what was happening now in studio. I had this thing inside of me that I felt like there was more to life. You know, when you pray, God brings you angels that will confirm that there's something greater inside of you. And that's what my late friend was to me. He came at a time where I was trying to find what is it that is inside of me. And my voice could not be heard by the man that I was with. And because I was not willing, like Mama Maya Angelou would say, nothing can dim the light that shines from within. And it only means you have to take the first step. You have to take responsibility for your light. And for me, what was inside of me is that I am a voice for those women who go through what I am going through, but they're sitting in it. And I just had to come out, and I had to come out and allow Pandora to walk into the unknown, because I had all these plans, personal plans, but it was the unknown of an all-knowing God, because he knew what he was doing, and his grace sustained me. It sustained me.
So now here you are leaving this engagement with nothing.
Yes.
Where do you go?
I walked away with nothing. I remember Ulongi took me to a communal house. There was a woman who used to do my hair in Randburg. And I always say, you know what, ladies, when you go to the hair salons and you see that these women, they try and ends meet. You know, it's not easy. Always leave good tips.
Yes.
Because you don't know what your tips will do for you. And I remember Susan was a lady from Nigeria who used to do my hair. Ulongi was like, listen, friend, we've got nowhere to go. What's that lady that does your hair? I'm like, Susan's like, we're going to have to go and knock at Susan's door. And here I am coming to a communal house in Randburg. And I'm coming from a mansion with the address. And I believe that was my beginning of my humility, because I had an option to go back home, because I come from a good home.
Yes.
I could have gone home, but I knew that this is my journey. This is what I need to do. And I had to endure the thorns of the beauty of this flower that was coming. And those are my thorns. We got there and we stayed in Randburg at Susan's house. And I remember when we were staying there, we were sleeping on the floor because it's a communal house.
Yes.
Susan had a child. There was me. There was Ulongi. Ulongi was also based at my house when he's coming to Joburg. So here we are. We both don't have a place to stay. I'm laughing at it today because when I look back at the journey and where I am right now, I'm like, wow, God loves me, you know. God has been good to me. So it was those times. And we'll have to call my mom to ask for money for us to be able to eat. And I used to dream, and I would sit. I remember in that house there was like a garden with the grass. I love the garden with all my heart. I love it. I still do it now in my house. I sit out in the garden and I meditate. And we used to sit there, and I used to tell Lungi, you know what, my friend? I'm going to be something big. My voice is going to be heard. I'm going to speak, friend. Radios, TVs will open up to me. You know, I'm going to share my story. And he used to say, my friend, remember with the man that we are dealing with. Should you mention his name, you're going to jail.
Oh my God.
So now I laugh at it. And it was not an easy transition. I'm not going to lie. Me walking away was not the end of it.
Yes.
Because, you know, they say money is power for some people.
It is for a lot of people.
I think I had humiliated him. I think his ego was bruised in such a way that there was a time I had to go to court with him because he was suing me for his monies.
He's suing you.
He wanted things that he had done for me. And you know how it is.
And at that point, you left your job. You left your business.
I left my job. I left my business.
But he's still suing you.
I left your house.
With your cars.
I left your things.
I have nothing.
And that is why sometimes I ask the system of our law in South Africa, is it moved by power of money and power of statuses? What is the essence of the law of South Africa?
Yeah, because what did he want from you? You had nothing.
I went back to court, and it was like, everything that I've done for you, you're gonna go back home. I run Joburg. You know, people telling you who they are.
Yes.
And at that time, I'm young. Not that I come from a wealthy family.
Yes.
I don't come from a wealthy family, so I had no money to even defend myself.
You can't fight fire with fire.
You know, I just went through it, but I knew that it was ego being bruised.
Yeah.
And you try, because you're feeling so much pain, and now you're trying to make me feel the same pain that you are feeling. And those are the prices that you pay when you do not listen to your intuition. Because if we rewind, when I met him, when I just came to Joburg, the first thing I saw, he looks old. That was my intuition. That was my gut. That was my spirit speaking to me that red flag. But because the world is so busy, and we dismiss that voice, we dismiss that inner voice, and we become swarmed with business, because in Joburg people are so busy. People are busy in Joburg.
There's even a cow train come in, out, station. You moving.
People are busy, and you move with this flow of business that you don't even have time to listen to yourself. So that was red flag number one, and Pandora chose not to listen to her intuition.
So now you are in a David and Goliath situation. You are the David, you are small, and he is
he's a giant.
He is this giant that has slayed millions of soldiers. Now you are there.
That's where I was. It was not an easy season for me. I used to think, I'm going to jail. He's a politician. He's powerful here.
Yes.
And we put so much power on statuses, because what made me afraid then, it was his status. Now that I look at it now, I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of who he is and the power that I thought he had, because they don't have power. Status is not power. Your essence, your core, who you are as a human being, is what gives you the power. I went through it. I paid my dues. But you know, when you start seeking God, because when you're in the dark corners, that's when you start kneeling down really and say, God, help me. How do I get out of this? I'm grateful that I got out of it without me going to jail. It just went away. And I think it got to a point where people were tired of it. And that could only be the power of prayer in my life, because I had no money to pay the lawyers. I had nothing. At the time. I was penniless. I was
you took everything.
You know, and I was sleeping on the floors in someone's house.
Yes.
And even from there, I had to go back home because she got caught that she has brought two people. And then again, I had to go back to Cape Town. And for me, it was not a battle for me to fight. When God says, I will fight your battles, but come to me. Because sometimes the friends, the A-list friends that I used to have, they were not there. No one was there for me. And my late grandfather used to say, when days are dark, friends are few. I lived it. Hence, I'm alone now. Hence, I am so deliberate about what I allow in my space, because don't come to me because of who I am and who you think I am. Come to me because you want to know who is Pandora. There is something that you have to come and take from me, and there is something that I have to come and take from you. We need to exchange substance. We need to have conversations that are going to take us forward. I don't know how to speak hair. I don't know how to speak nails. I don't know how to speak conversations that don't add value anymore. And I'm grateful for my time in isolation. I'm grateful for those who walked away from me. They did not kill me. They helped me grow. And growing, I had to grow alone with God.
That was Kelly Kumalo with Mpini, which simply means at war, right?
Yes.
At war, which is what you went through. And there was a whole lot of turmoil. So you went back home. Now you're back home. Then what?
And I was at home, and I was still talking about me. And I didn't know where Pandora the speaker was, but I kept on saying, I'm going to speak. You know, I need to set women free, because there's so many women that are hiding behind the addresses. We're hiding behind the big cars. And yet we are unhappy.
Yes.
But we are worried about what people are going to say. If I walk away, I'm walking away with nothing. And I used to verbalize it so much that, you know, I'm a speaker. And I didn't know where that was coming from, because all I did was marketing. Then all I had was marketing.
Yes.
But I kept on speaking with my mouth that I'm going to get stages where I'm going to get booked. And I remember in the year 2010, and I was back home in Cape Town, I was embarrassed.
Yes.
I was not going to Gugulethu during that time. I was at home. And I was always grateful that my mom moved me out of Gugulethu, because people knew, you know, that she's with this guy, life is good, you know.
All is going well.
And some of my friends, those were my friends in Cape Town then, whenever they came, they would come to me, you know. So they knew our life. And whenever I was in Cape Town with him, we would go to places where people are having fun. And they would. So I was very embarrassed. I did not go to Gugulethu during that time. If I was going, I would go to my cousin's house where I knew that no one is going to know that I'm here. I was afraid of the people and what people would say. So I used to thank my mom all the time that, you know, you taking us out of Gugulethu really helped me. And I used home as a shelter where I could hide away from the world. And I remember while I was there, I got an inbox on Facebook from a very great woman who gave me my very first platform of speaking. Umajaji dropped me an inbox. She's like, you know what, Pandora, I've got an event, and it's a very intimate event of women where she had doctors, CEOs, all these women that are professionals. And she's like, I'm looking for a speaker. And every time I pray, those were her words. Every time I pray, I see you. I want your story. And I was like, but I've never spoken before. You know? And she's like, you will be the only speaker. I will bring you over. You will come and speak. I want you to share your story. And I was like, I can't say his name. She's like, no, I'm not looking for his name. We just want your story. And that is when I knew that be careful with what you say with your mouth. Because your words are life. Your words are seeds that give birth. There I was back home, and I'm speaking of me getting stages, me speaking. And when I had my first stage, it was not the big stages that I'm on right now. No. It was a very intimate event of women, and I got there and I spoke, and women were in tears. And then that's when I knew that something in me is great. Something is here to impact lives. Something in me is giving hope to hopeless situations. And thereafter I was unstoppable. But it was from that one woman who gave me an opportunity. The rest is history. Doors opened. Because I was willing to serve. I was willing not to be worried about, okay, how much am I getting paid from this gig? You know, we didn't even discuss money. All I knew that this is an opportunity for me to be a voice and for me to go change lives. That's all that I knew, that I'm going there and I'm going to change lives. And from that moment, that small seed that I planted there, it has gave birth to to what many see today. But I will never forget my humble beginnings, where it all started.
But so it was that one moment, that one opportunity.
It was a moment in time.
That was Leona Lewis with A Moment Like This. Time flies when you're having fun. Oh my gosh, the time right now is 19:29. So 31 more minutes before the end of the show. No! No. Okay, so you got your moment.
My moment in time.
And I was saying this to you off air that I feel like God grants such moments to people that are willing to serve.
Yes. For me, it was not about the fame.
Yeah.
I did not see all that I'm seeing today. And
Yes.
people know, I just stay on my knees and just serve.
And when you were speaking to your friend and you're like, I'm going to be a speaker, I am going to speak on stages. At the time when you were saying that, what did you think you were going to speak about?
I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but all I knew is that I've got stages waiting for me. I used to say it to my mom that I'm going to speak. And I am sitting at home and I've got nothing to show off where I'm coming from.
And you don't even have content at the time, or so you thought.
I had no content. I thought I had no
That's
content.
What I'm saying, or so you thought.
I didn't know that I had content. That was my story. And but I kept on saying that I'm going to speak. My voice is going to be heard. The world is waiting for me. I saw the world. And when I got that call from Umajaji, I knew that the time, and because she was so specific, we want your story. And I'm like, my story. She's like, you're a runaway bride. We want your story as it is. Come and share it with women. And I knew that was my moment in time. That was my moment.
So now you come to Joburg, you tell your story, here's women getting emotional, and it's the stage, and you feel that at that moment, did you feel that this is my purpose?
I knew immediately that this
is it.
This is part of my soul purpose.
Yeah.
This is part of what the Pandora's box carries. Because I look at myself now, and I always say Pandora the speaker is only leg of the body. There are many gifts that are in this box. I have the arms, I have the eyes. So there's so much that I am still to give to the world. But it birthed itself with speaking, and not just speaking for the sake of speaking. Speak substance, speak truth, speak what people are going through, because the world is challenged. And my story is what most women are going through right now, whether they're married, whether they aspire to be married, whether they're having conversations with their friends in hair salons, or women talk about is finding that rich guy. And sometimes I just sit there when I'm at the salon and I listen. And even when I'm there, those are my opportunities, because my gift does not only end on stage. It does not end behind the mic. I've got young girls that I've adopted in Cape Town that I speak to about these truths. Whenever I hear a young girl or a woman raving about, I need a man with money, and I always ask, who says you don't have the power to make your own money? Why must it be a man who has the money? Why? How did we get there? And for me, my voice is not only behind these mics or when I'm booked by corporate or government or a university or an event. Wherever I am, this is how I live. This is my life, because that's my stage. Every opportunity is a stage for me,
because you don't know who's listening.
Every opportunity is a stage for me. And for me, I'm forever grateful that I said I am ready to serve.
So you came to Joburg, you told your story, you spoke, and you went back home.
I went back to Cape Town, but out of that event, gigs came from some of the women that were sitting there. And my first gig, I didn't even get paid. There was no money attached to it. And I went back home, and from there, another gig came, and I came, and I remember even then, I didn't know. They were like, "How much do you charge?"
Yeah, and you're like, "What?"
I didn't know.
What do people? What's the going rate?
Do we pay for this? You know, and then I had to make a decision that, Mom, I need to go back. I'm getting gigs that side. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look for a job. I want to work while I'm doing this.
Yes,
you know, because now, yes, I got paid there, but when I look at what I charge now, because now I'm on this full time, and what I got paid then, it's like okay,
what?
You know, it's good to just want to serve. And my mom was like, "How are you going to survive? How are you going to do this?" I'm like, "No, don't worry. I'm going to go back. I'm going to look for a job. I'm going to do this while I'm working. But I am not going to leave this for a job." That's one thing I knew.
Okay.
That this is my calling. This is what I'm born to do. This is my purpose. And every time I spoke, every time I shared my story, it's a space that gave me so much peace. It's a space that gave me so much. I felt so worthy. I felt like I was enough. I'm of value. I'm giving something that is really, really, really transforming lives, because so many people speak about transformation. You know, I speak from private sector, from politicians, churches. Everyone speaks of transformation, but I felt like I was really, really, really playing a role in my own little corner, like Mama Tina Turner would say, "Let your little light shine."
Yes.
You know, and I was allowing my light to shine. And I had to come back, staying with a friend, I could get a job.
Okay.
And I started working for LOreal in the marketing division. And there I was, and I'm getting this salary. I remember when I got that offer, I kept on looking, and I'm like, oh my God, is this really happening?
Is there an extra zero? Is it there? Yeah.
You know, but one promise I made to Pandora, I was not gonna let go of my speaking. And I remember even in my interview with LOreal, I told them, guys, I'm a public speaker, so I speak. So when I get gigs, I need to be able to go and speak. And my manager back then, Matthew, what a beautiful soul that boy he was. And I remember he said, Pandora, yes, you can speak, but not during working hours, hey?
Yeah, just by
so
the way.
Can you just do this thing on weekends? And I understood. And when I got there, I remember there was no handover that was done. I saw God handing over to me. I remember when I was there for like a month, I had to put together a national conference for the entire marketing division of LOreal. And I remember my ex-boss, Matthew Benton, when we were in Magaliesburg, he said, "Where's that little black girl? Where's that short black girl?" And I'm like, "I'm here." And he's like, "Guys, she deserves an award." Pandora came in. We just threw her deep at the end of the sea. She knew nothing about the beauty industry. And we are here today because of her. And she has put this together. And for me, I could see that I am not alone. And now prayer was very important to me. Even in the office, they knew that at 12 o'clock she steps out. She needs to go and pray. And it became my lifestyle. You know, when you've hit rock bottom and then you see that you're rising, I knew that it was not my power. It was not context. The only connection I had was God's grace doing things for me. And I was like, I'm going to be here for 3 years. And
this was, so you started working for LOreal in 2012?
In 2015. 2012, I was with Old Mutual.
Okay.
I worked for Old Mutual. I was an executive PA to the CEO. Okay. Worked for Old Mutual. And I remember even when I was there, that job I started on the 1st of November, 2012. Came back full time, worked there. I remember meeting up with other women who are prayerful as well. Yes. And we did our thing. And in 2014, I resigned, end of 2014, because I had a better opportunity in 2015 with LOreal, with LOreal International. And it was marketing. It was what I studied.
Yes.
And I remember speaking to my boss then, because they had changed my boss, and I was like, Mr. Chimponda, this is what has come my way, and I love being here. I've served, and I am grateful that I was an executive PA, because I do my own admin.
Yes.
It was all preparation for my business, you know. And I remember speaking to him, and I was like, I need to leave. L'Oreal has made me an offer. This offer is this much. And we looked at the numbers, and he was like, go. Run. He said go. And I had to leave Old Mutual, and then I got into L'Oreal. And when I got into L'Oreal, I'm like, I'm going to be here for the next 3 years, because I was looking at the numbers. I'm like, oh, the numbers are making me smile. And
you were there, you got there in 2015 at
2015
L'Oreal.
On January. It was the 5th of January, to be exact. I got to L'Oreal. I started working with them.
Yeah. Okay. So, wow. I think this speaks of what you did at L'Oreal when you arrived and who you had backing you.
Mind Effect with Karabo Mashako.
That was Kayam Teta with Oasis Worship. Umkhulu Msebenzi.
Umkhulu Msebenzi kayehova.
It is.
I've seen it in my life. Umkhulu Msebenzi kabawo.
Yo. So wow, the time.
And you actually took me back.
Wow, the time is 19:45. Yo, 15 minutes. Okay. So you are at L'Oreal, you are working there, you are happy with your salary, I
was very happy with my salary. The only thing I was not happy about was the working hours.
Okay.
The pressure in the cosmetic industry is crazy.
I can imagine.
And I felt like a part of me was losing me.
Okay.
But I was so dedicated, and I was loving it because it's girly girl. It was reminding me, of
to look pretty.
We always had to wear makeup. You wear your heels. You have a certain way of walking, And I really had an amazing team around me, and we worked so greatly. But on weekends, I'm invited for radio interviews, TV interviews, and there were so many gigs that I was missing out on during the week.
Oh.
And I started looking at my life and evaluating my life, and I was like, I'm here. I'm happy, But my core, because now I knew that my life can't only be measured by money. My power can't only be measured by money.
And this decision is coming a second time in your life.
Second time in my life. And here I am, I'm earning this salary, and I'm thinking, my daughter depends on this. My mom is living the good life, My mom is fine because I'm able to provide.
Yes.
But I felt like there's more to me. The gigs that I'm missing out during the week, so many lives I am not impacting. And when they say you can do all things through God, I think I was not as wise as I am right now that I could. I quickly got to a space whereby I was like, Pandora, you have to make a choice.
Yes.
It's either it's your speaking. Already my business was on Pandora's box management, so all my speaking gigs were booked under Pandora's box management while I am working. And they knew at L'Oreal that she's got a thing that she's running on the side, and I was not willing to compromise it for anything. But I felt like I was losing out on so many people during the week, people that I could be impacting their lives. And within that 2015 that I got there, and I did all the great works that we did with my team, because it was not only me.
Yes.
It was me and my team. We worked, and I had a decision to make.
Same year.
I had a decision to make. And I knew that I wanted to build an empire. I knew that I wanted a legacy. I knew that Pandora's name needs to stand in the sands of time. Even when I'm gone, there should be people that say, she was here. And I sat with myself and I said, what do you want to do? I was so afraid to jump to the unknown, because if I leave and I resign, it means I'm going to do this full time. I remember I was even consulting with my friends. oh Mama Maponya, I was like, I need prayers.
Yeah,
I've got a
help me.
decision to make. I don't know what to do. But I jumped.
And when was this? Which month was it?
I got there in January. I was out of LOreal by July. I was out. I was like, I'm out.
No.
I had left. I left the money behind. And I just wanted to do what I was born to do. And I have never worked for anyone since 2015 to date. Have I had hard times? Yes. Business is not easy. There was a time I fell off in 2015. Things just did not... 2018, sorry. Things did not make sense. From 2015, 2016, 2017, life was good. Things were happening. 2018, we started facing a recession in the country. And because I had no mentors, because I was learning all these things by myself, I had no skill of financial management. I didn't have much. All I had was being a PA. So whenever you book Pandora, you would speak to me as the PA and book Pandora. So I was always grateful for what I learned at Old Mutual as an executive PA because it prepared me. So I had 3 names. I had different names. Pandora, there was Lerato, who is the PA, and you're booking Pandora through Lerato, but you don't know that it's still Pandora that's speaking to you. And then when I send you an email with the code and everything, it's coming from Lerato, but that's actually Pandora.
Everyone is Pandora.
Yes. And I could market my own brand. I could grow my own brand and marketing. And what I did with LOreal, and because I had studied marketing, it could help me to inject that into my business. 2018, I went down. I went back home, and no one knew that I was home. I went back home again, and no one knew that I was back home. And I remember that time I got very involved with the underprivileged kids of Cape Town, because we've got these girls that play basketball, and I was giving so much of myself in that. And at that time, I was going through my own challenges. I was going through so much, but all I knew that I did not fail, even though I was at home. I knew I had not failed. I knew that Pandora hasn't failed. It's time to pause. It's time to rest. It's time to start restructuring your strategy on how you're going to move. And each and every challenge, each and every time I thought I was down, that was my lesson for growth.
Join in on the conversation, family. Our WhatsApp line is 0656019878. We've got another message from Amanda. She says, Mkhulu msebenzi owenzayo ngiyabonga. Thank you. It's been a wonderful playlist. All songs chosen by our dear guests, just by the way. And there's another message from Lusanda, who says, Pandora is light and a powerful voice of change. There are so many good things to say about her. We are quite inspired by her story, the runaway bride.
Thank you, Lusanda.
Who ditched riches to find her purpose in life and a calling to inspire others. She has triggered something that in life it is important to know your purpose, because it helps us to live with integrity. People who know their purpose in life know who they are, what they are, and why they are. And when you know yourself, it becomes easier to live a life that's true to your core values. Thank you, Pandora, for embracing us with your presence. Continue to shine and make an impact where it matters the most to a society at large.
Oh, thank you, Lusanda. They're going to make me cry. They're so good with words.
You are so emotional.
I am. Like, I've been in tears. And it's seldom that this happens live behind the mic.
Yeah.
What a moment. What a moment. What a moment.
So, wow. Time flies. It's 1953. Wow.
Yes.
What? No, we need you back here. But before, I'm actually going to close off with something that you mentioned. A song that I'm going to close off with.
All right.
I'm not going to tell you this one you didn't choose. This one is me. This one is all me. But before I go there, and before obviously you sign out and you give us your details, where are you at now? Are you still in the journey of discovery? Have you found yourself? Where are you right now?
I don't believe that we ever, for as long as you're on earth, I don't believe there's ever a moment where you say, I have got it.
Yeah,
I found myself. And I've learned this from my mentor, and he always says to me, if you don't go within, you go without. So you cannot predict by yourself if you have arrived or not. I have found parts of my purpose, and I believe the box still has so much to give to the world. I will only be able to say that when I'm on the other side after I leave Earth.
Yes.
I cannot say that now. I have not discovered myself. Every day I am growing. Every day I am learning something new. Every day I am seeking guidance, strength, faith, power, and protection every day of my life. No, I have not yet fully discovered myself. I have discovered parts of who Pandora is. And Pandora will only say when she has left the earth, and I am spirit and I'm an angel in the other realms, and I'll be able to say, I discovered what I came for. Now, no.
Another thing, you said when you decided to leave LOreal, you got a voice. You heard a voice.
Yes.
You heard a voice.
Yes, I heard a voice. I remember I said, I'm going to be here for 3 years. And the voice was like, no, 3 months. And I pushed from 3 months to 6 months. In the 3rd month, I had the most challenging time with HR in LOreal. There was inequality. There was a lot that was happening. And I was fighting. I was going to HR executive offices and trying to be a voice for other people. And I was no longer happy. But then I remembered the voice spoke to me.
Yeah, you were
it
told.
said 3 months. And I said, no, the money. No, the money. I'm going to be here for 3 years, you know. But on the 6th month, I knew that it was time to bow down.
So how do people get a hold of you?
I saw there was a bishop that said he would love to meet me. I know not everyone has social media. I do always give away the social media platforms as well. But I'm available on my number 076 272 6051. I will repeat that 076 272 6051. I am available on Instagram. My name is Pandora Mabai. I've got a Facebook fan page called Pandora Mabai, Inspirational Speaker. I am on Twitter, but I'm not too active on Twitter.
Twitter.
Black Twitter breaks you, you know. So I avoid anything that is gonna break my spirit and break who I am, because I've got so much to give to people on daily basis. I am available on Twitter, but don't expect too much from me on Twitter. It's at P Mabai, right? Yes. You say I don't even know my Twitter handle. So, and for those who would like to drop me emails, it's my name and my surname, pandoramabai@gmail.com.